The Sewing Club podcast is recorded on Turrbal and Yagara country. We pay our respects to the elders past and present.
Are we good? All right.
It's a little different, so...
Yeah, it's all a bit like, oh, how do we start?
Yes.
We should probably introduce ourselves.
We should just say hello.
Hi.
Welcome. Hello.
Welcome to the Sewing Club podcast. I'm Gemma from Sewing Gem.
And I'm Kylie from Kylie and the Machine.
And this month, we've got a slightly different episode.
Yes, we do. We did not review a pattern.
No.
We didn't sew the same thing. We sewed whatever we wanted to, whatever our little hearts desired. And it is going to be an episode about cake.
Yeah, cake. So, well... I feel like maybe we need to give it a bit more introduction first and then we'll go to our cake.
Definitely.
So it was all about getting our sojo back, wasn't it? You know,
Yes.
Making something that we, wanted to make. It's been on the list for a while and just going a bit free reign.
Free reign indeed. I got to be honest, like my free reign, I expected it to be all like exciting and all that, but it ended up being quite boring. But, that worked out really well.
A good staple?
A good staple, yeah. What about you?
Similar, because I wanted to make something that I was going to wear regularly, probably something I could put on to do the podcast, and not feel like I was dressing up, just wearing a normal kind of thing that I would normally reach for on my day-to-day.
I agree. I feel like a lot of projects that I have made, not just for the podcast, but other projects, there have been a lot of event wear and beautiful dresses, and I do wear those things, but every day I'm, running around with the kids, going to work, just doing stuff around the house. It's not really I don't wear a dress for those things.
No, like your mum uniform almost. So what is?
Yes.
Tell me what that is for you.
Actually, my mum uniform is like denim shorts and a top of some kind.
Same.
Sometimes a T-shirt, sometimes a tank top, sometimes like a blouse, but generally that's my uniform.
Yeah, I'm quite similar to that as well. And this month I really wanted to make something in stretch for a few different reasons. But first and foremost, because when I'm, reaching for some of my ready-to-wear stuff, it's often stretch. It's a tank top, it's a T-shirt, it's something that's comfortable and easy to wear. So that's what I wanted to try and recreate.
So you made all stretch things?
All stretch things.
Well, I made all woven things.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing about stretch is that I'd forgotten how quick it is.
Yeah.
So I only I actually made a dress, which I'll introduce shortly, but I made one and it was so quick. I was like, I could totally make another one of these. And it was, a real quick turnaround. So it was great.
Making something more than once and back to back is generally the best way of doing it. I made something that I'd already made before and I made two of them because I know that I'm going to wear them because I've got a couple in my closet. So I was just, filling in the gaps of my wardrobe. I feel like I have a lot of bottoms and a lot of dresses.
Yes.
But don't have a lot of tops. Because I feel like you could wear the same or similar bottoms on more rotation, but I feel like you need more of a variety for the top. So
I agree.
That's where I was focusing my energy.
Nice. So should we introduce what we made?
Yeah, let's.
So I made the Pattern Emporium Going Places dress.
Okay. And it's a stretch.
It's a stretch dress. It has lots of different options, lots of different neckline options, hemline options. And that's kind of what I liked about it. So I actually made, two versions of the dress. One with the square neckline, which was the low square neckline, and one with the round neckline. I think it was the ballet is what she calls it in the pattern.
Like just a scoopy.
A scoop, yeah. And then there's a really low one and then a higher. Oh, then there's a boat, actually. It's a boat neck. And then the hem you could either do just a straight a fitted with the flounce on the bottom, or what she calls fit and flare. And I went for a fitted with the flounce on the bottom. And I liked that in the first one, so I recreated that. So I did, a round neckline and a square neckline, and then I did both with the fitted and a flounce on the bottom of it. So
well, I'm looking at them hanging on their hangers, and they look nice, but I'm sure that when you put them on, stretch garments generally look better on than on the hanger.
I agree.
So everyone will get to see that in the pictures
absolutely.
that we post.
Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Is it a thicker stretch material that you use
the
there?
black one is like a Ponte scuba type, and
Yeah.
whereas the green one is kind of like a teal. My two favourite colours, I realise that I keep going back to, but it's more of a like cotton jersey with elastane, basically, cotton with elastane in it. So
I don't think you need to change your colours.
No,
if
they're good.
If they work, then just keep going.
well, I know I'm going to wear it.
I
That's
didn't
the
get
thing.
very adventurous with my colours either. I made 2 black tops and a beige top.
Tell us about the pattern that you made.
So the one I made 2 of is called the Pinnacle top, which is from Paper Cut Patterns. I'm wearing it now.
That reminds me, or makes me think of Bridgerton, for anyone that's watching the new season of Bridgerton. I won't go into too much detail, but I think you know what I'm talking about.
I think this top is like older than Bridgerton, so I don't think it's named after that.
No, well, it depends what you call it, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty fun to make, but it wasn't that fun.
I love that detail on the front. That's very cool. Was that hard to sew?
No, not.
Tell the listeners what we're talking about here, I guess.
Okay, so it's like I guess if from afar, if you weren't looking at the detail, it just looks like a regular kind of boxy top. But the way that it's cut and all the pieces, it doesn't have a shoulder seam, and it's actually cut on the bias here. And it's sort of like cut on the bias in all these nice places, so it sort of flows over your shoulders, and there's no seam here. And I've made like 3 of them prior to this.
Okay.
And I was wearing one the other day, and I just thought, I love this top. And I found an old photo of it in my phone when I first made it, and I'd made it in 2018. So I'm still wearing that top.
Yeah.
So I think it has, proven
stayer.
it. Yeah, it's proven. But then I decided to make 2 more. One in black linen and one in like a beige, like oatmeal type of linen. And the only thing I changed was there's like a tie. There's a tie at the back, and I don't like that because it just gets stuck in your hair. And
has it got a button on it? Or?
well, I made it so the binding goes all the way around.
Ah, cute. I like that, like a little keyhole almost.
Yes, and there's a little bit of a gap at the back, but I made it just so I can get over my head, basically, because I didn't want any extra bits flapping around.
Did you have to test that? Did you have to do like the head test to make sure it was going to go?
Yeah, I made the binding and then I tested it over my head and then I sewed it on, But I sort of knew that it would fit, because I have made the other ones with
versions.
tie. Yeah. And it was like just nice to kind of like just get into the flow. It wasn't complicated. I didn't have to keep referring to the instructions and just sew.
Yeah.
Like, I realized that as much as it's boring-ish to cut out a black top and sew it and a beige top and sew it, and I really had to push through. Like, it wasn't much giving me any joy at the
Excitement.
time. It was like I was in the flow of it, but it wasn't like, I'm so excited for this thing.
To
like,
see what it's going to be like.
Yeah, which is often what it is when you're making something new with some fun fabric and it's a new pattern and it's this fancy thing and it has all this detail and you can't leave things alone and you have to hack it like I do most of the time.
Yep.
That's fun in a different way to how this kind of sewing is fun. Like this sewing is like less fun.
But the reward at the end is like better because you know it's something you're going to reach for time and time, which kind of brings us onto what we were going to call this month's episode.
Yes.
We're going to talk about...
Is it cake?
Is it cake or is it icing?
Yes. And I think we sew a lot of icing.
We do.
And I think that social media has a lot to do with that.
And it hangs in the wardrobe and the icing looks beautiful in the wardrobe. But we need more cake in our lives.
We need a lot more cake.
Yeah.
Because that's what we reach for. And then what happens is you end up wearing or buying a ready-to-wear thing for your everyday stuff, and then you have all these beautiful handmade garments. It's like, let's make the everyday stuff.
Yeah, let's flip it around.
Yes.
Yeah.
So 2026 is going to be more cake.
More cake.
Less icing.
Yeah.
Just in the sewing world. But in real cake world, I'll be eating the icing.
Yeah, what would you go for in the real world? Cake or icing?
I like to have an equal amount of both in every bite. Like, I don't like eating just the cake or just the icing. I like to have both. And that's... a balanced wardrobe.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I have a lot of clothes in my wardrobe that I don't wear
same.
often. It's not that I don't ever wear them. They do get a little bit of wear.
They just need a particular occasion and that doesn't always come up and so they hang there.
I feel like there's hardly any occasions.
Yeah. We need more of those occasions in our life.
Yeah, I need more occasions. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe I don't need more cake. I need more occasions.
Yeah.
No, but we still need more cake.
We do. We need both. Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I've been wearing a lot of the same basics for like years and years and years.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the things that have stood the test of time and then
recreating those.
Yeah. And I've also revisited some patterns from other podcast guests that we've had.
Yes.
I made the Donny top, which is from a Friday Pattern Company.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and it's a collared shirt with like a little bib thing.
Cute.
And sleeves. Like it's a really easy make. It doesn't have like a complicated collar stand and it doesn't have buttons. It's just a really nice, easy throw-on woven top.
Great.
And I can see why that one's popular.
And what colour did you make that in?
I made it in this purple and blue stripy linen.
That's cute.
Yeah, it's really easy to pop on. It just requires me to iron it every time I wash it. So
Doesn't always get worn.
yeah, it's one of those ones like, I really want to wear that top. I got to iron it now.
Yeah.
Do you iron all your clothes and then put them away, or what do you do?
No, no. I iron as I require them.
Okay.
And I actually recently purchased a little handheld steamer.
Oh, yes.
And it's good, but it's not as good as the iron.
It's good to get out the wrinkles. So it's acceptable.
Yeah, so I might hang it in the laundry and give it a quick steam and put it away. But that's unusual. It has to be a very special garment for me to do that. Like look particularly bad when it comes out of the wash. But yeah, that's not standard normally. Oh, lucky if they get folded in our house.
Well, with stretch, you don't need to iron it at all.
Exactly.
Where'd you get your fabric from?
I actually just went to Spotlight because I didn't know how the pattern was going to go. And I wanted to talk actually a little bit about stretch fabrics and where our listeners go, because I love the dress. I've made it obviously twice now. I would like a really, really, really high quality stretch fabric to make that dress in now. Like even like, for a more of a special event, like an ICING kind of stretch dress. But I struggle to find good quality stretch fabric. So if there's anyone out there with any suggestions, we would love to hear from you.
Yes, stretch is hard because it's like everywhere in the shops, right? And it feels pretty good quality in the shops, or like the fabric itself. And if you do find good quality in a fabric shop, it's so expensive. And it doesn't, and it's like, I can't really justify that.
It's sometimes difficult to tell as well how good the recovery is going to be over time, over a few washes and things like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't take very long for the garment to lose its kind of like the ability to go back in once it's been stretched.
That's right. And sometimes it can twist as well.
Yeah. It is. I have to say I found sewing a stretch dress really easy, really straightforward. Some people can be a bit sort of fearful of sewing stretch, and I would say my advice would be don't be. There's lots of aspects of sewing stretch that's actually easier sometimes than sewing woven.
Yeah.
But it can be a bit less forgiving, the fabric. It can be a bit more wavy. It can roll up a bit more at the edges. There's things we can do to get around that, but sewing with really good quality stretch fabric would definitely make the experience, I guess, more enjoyable,
Yeah. And I know that you have all of the bells and whistles, and you've got, and myself as well, like you've got a cover stitch machine and an overlocker, but you don't need those things.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
You just need you could just use a twin needle if you want to have that double row of stitching on your hems.
And a zigzag stitch.
And zigzag, exactly.
Seams.
But I mean, it is nice to have that professional finish. It's probably not worth buying a cover stitch for, the 2 garments of stretch you're going to make a year, but you might be someone that's really into making stretch. I actually got my cover stitch because I was buying a lot of fabric from Boo Designs and making leotards and things for my girls and swimmers and things like that. And it is really useful to have it for that reason.
It's also frustrating too. You can be frustrating.
Yeah.
If you've ever had 1 or 2 skipped stitches on a cover stitch. It's
absolutely. Well, actually on my black, because part of my reason as well for wanting to sew stretch was I've been looking at my cover stitch in the corner of my sewing room, getting more and more dust gathering on it. And I was like, can I even remember how to use the cover stitch machine? I really need to dust that thing up and give it a go. And on the black one, which was the one I made first, I did the neckline and I had it all right. And then I did the neckline and I looked underneath and there were a few skipped stitches. So that was also part of my reason for wanting to make another one. I was like, I'm going to get the stitches on this machine absolutely perfect, which I did by the second dress. But, you know, it can be a little bit fiddly. And I always like to use woolly nylon in my lower looper as well, because I just find the finish on the underside just looks better, more professional. But, you know, I've got an air threading cover stitch. And so sometimes getting with the wire and everything, there's always like just little things that you have to get your head back into again when you're using a cover stitch. But don't let that put you off.
I just think that a reality check, like I was like, I'm going to get this cover stitch machine and then all my problems are going to be solved. Yeah. It's like, no, like it's just another machine that has a big learning curve, and
Absolutely.
you're not a sweatshop factory. Like, you are going to have to really take care of with doing these, and you might have some mistakes, and you might have to unpick everything and fix it again. But that's just how it is.
And it's getting a feel for how you want it to look, for how you want. So you can move it, for those of you that don't have a cover stitch machine, you can move that. There's usually, on mine anyway, 3 needle positions. So you can have a really narrow sort of width of your needles when the 2 stitches come together, or a bit wider. And it's getting a feel for how you want it to look. Like I had, on my first dress, I did a wide needle position, and I had 1 row of stitching on the binding and 1 off. And I kind of decided that I didn't really like that, and that next time I wanted it to both be a bit narrower and on the bind. So little things like that, they just need playing around with.
And test.
And
Lots
testing.
of tests.
Test. Never go straight onto your garment.
And always test, like, you know how sometimes you just grab a scrap and you test? You always have to make sure you're testing the same direction of stretch. Like, if you're doing a hem, then you want to make sure that the scrap that you're testing is also the same stretch direction.
Same stretch direction and same thickness.
Yeah, and fold it over exactly how you're going to make a fake hem and do it.
Often we're doing cover stitching on a neckline, which has got, 3-4 folds of fabric because of the binding and all sorts, So to then just practice on 1 layer of the fabric, you're not recreating what it's going to be like. Yeah. And there's not going to be all the, the lumps and the fabric joins and things as you go around. So it's worth recreating that just to see how your machine's going to go.
I think it's worth doing that for like anything, really.
I agree.
Like every time maybe not if you're just sewing, regular cotton or linen or, but if you're moving on to something that's just a bit different, a little bit finer or a little bit shiftier or whatever it is.
Yep.
And sometimes you just want to, even just with the regular sewing machine, test the stitch length.
Absolutely.
Just make sure it doesn't sink in too much, or you want it to be a feature, or you want it to disappear. Like, depends.
You're right. Yeah.
I always keep the scraps. And so like at least 5 minutes just playing around, making sure I've got the setting. And then I know what settings I'm going to use on the machine, and then the rest of it's smooth sailing.
I think that's really good advice. When we're doing the first stitches and the classes at Sewing Gem, at the beginning of the lesson, I always it might not be exactly the same piece of fabric that they're going to use, but very similar. Go around with a piece of fabric and just get everyone to just use your machine. How do the stitches look? Are they sitting in the fabric okay? Have you accidentally threaded it wrong? Is it not quite in the tension discs? All of those things. So many things that could go. Does your needle need changing? Does your machine need oiling? Does it sound like it's whatever it is? It's always a good idea to test before going into your good fabric.
And buttonholes.
Oh, buttonholes! Don't you just dread buttonholes?
Yeah, they always work out perfectly on the bottom ones, and then I go up, and then it's like one right here, right there in the front. That one will mess up, and I'll have to unpick it.
Yeah. Buttonholes, they're a recipe for disaster. But anyway,
yeah, I feel like it's like a psychological thing that if you believe maybe it's going to be fine because it always I feel like I like somehow create that mistake every time in my mind.
Do you talk to your sewing machine?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
And I like to turn the speed down a bit lower, and then I just, especially if it's thicker, I like actually, how every time the feed dogs pull the fabric, it's like I just give it a tiny little nudge both ways and just make sure that it's pulling, because you don't want it to like get stuck.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And then you just got to will it.
This is totally off topic, but I saw this thing and it was really cool, and I'm probably sure everyone's seen it, and it's the kind of placket that you can make where there's no buttonholes.
Oh, is it underneath? Is it like hidden in it, like a double placket? And there's...
Yeah, it's like 2 bits of folded fabric like this that are pressed open, and then you just leave gaps for the buttons. And then so it's all neat, and then there's no buttonhole. It's just like a little.
This.
It's just like a little slit.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
I'm going to try that out on the next thing I'm going to sew.
Okay.
Which I actually should have sewn this thing first because it was something that, did I tell you about that? I'm pretty sure I mentioned it. A group of us, we went to a fabric store and the three of us bought the same fabric.
I don't think I did know this.
And it was the end of the roll. Yeah. We were up the Sunshine Coast and we went to this fabric shop called Jono's Fabrics.
Oh, yeah. I know.
And it's this
Jono's,
hole in the wall full of fabric shop. And they have really good stuff in there. You just got to dig around.
Yeah.
And we found this roll of linen. It was white linen, but has a stripe of neon yellow.
Cool.
I've got it here.
You got it. I need to see this. Oh, I love that. That is very cool.
Yeah. So the three of us,
nice.
We bought the last, I think there was 6 meters left on the roll, and we each bought 2 meters each. And then I said, oh, well, we should all sew something, and then we'll see who can sew the fastest, and then we'll all get together in the same shirts.
Who's the last?
Oh, me. But I did, look, it's cut out. It's ready.
I mean, you've made good progress there, Kylie.
I've cut it out.
What are you making?
Oh, so this is, like I said, I'm revisiting patterns of companies that we've done on the podcast. So this is actually sad news, but Pattern Fantastique, and we did the Ether dress.
Yes.
She's closed down.
That's very sad.
Yeah. But only that she's closed the pattern company.
Right.
She's still working as a pattern maker.
Okay,
Yeah. But that's sad
It
because
is sad.
her patterns are lovely.
We missed. Yeah, absolutely.
I took the opportunity to pick up the ones that I didn't have when she had a closing sale.
Right,
and then so it's called the Fen shirt.
Okay, fantastic.
It's like I don't know, what do you call that? Like a bat wing almost?
Yeah, it looks cool.
It's got wide sleeves. It's a feminine-ish button-up shirt.
I love the little necktie. I'm interested to see how it's going to look.
Yeah, I'm not making the necktie version. I think I'm just making...
A bit more open.
I think I'm doing just the regular
collar.
I cut it out so long ago. This is
It
my
will be a
method.
surprise.
I cut it out and put it in a bag and then get to it sometime.
I like that. I tend to cut and sew. So maybe I should do a bit more of this. I don't know.
I don't know if this is helping me. Like, it's definitely... But it is good to have things like this because... Yeah, like I do these retreats every now and again and I often don't have time to sort of prepare for them.
That's a good point.
So it's kind of like, oh, what have I got bagged up?
Take it
with
you. Yeah, that's a really good idea, actually. I like that. I'm going to try and do a little bit more of that.
But I don't have one until October or something. So I'm going to have some home retreats by myself and just lock myself at home. And
you never know, it might still be in a bag.
And I also cut out the co-trousers.
I love the co-trousers. Yeah, I'd like to make another pair of those.
Because I don't actually wear the one I made for the podcast because they're too big for me.
Oh, okay.
So I've sized down. I made some alterations to the sizing and I'm making them in like a white kind of thick cotton. And I'm...
Like a drill or?
Yeah. And I'm hoping my plan was to make them in the summer when it's too hot to wear them and then we'll get like a nice autumn breeze come in and I'll be like, ooh,
yes,
it's my time to wear my
pants.
co-trousers.
Or trousers, sorry.
Yes. But I did the same thing again when I cut them out. I forgot about the belt because it's not in the pattern pieces.
Yeah, okay.
And I actually had to go back and buy more fabric.
Oh, that's annoying.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it will be worth it when they're made.
Yes, yeah.
So we probably should come back to our patterns that we've made.
Yes, that's right.
Tell me about your pinnacle.
The pinnacle, yeah.
Top.
I'm not telling you about my pinnacle, Gemma.
Sorry.
I'll tell you about
Should I
this
say
top.
that again?
Okay.
What was tricky about it? Because it looks quite tricky, how it joins in the middle of the top.
Yeah.
Was it tricky?
It's a little bit tricky, but I have a quilting background.
Okay.
Because when you put these seams together, they're kind of, diagonal and so the best way to line up that point is to get a pin and put it through.
Okay.
And then sort of like lift it up and see that the pin is going through the point. That's very hard to explain. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Are there good instructions in the pattern, would you say, for how to do it, or did you have to wing it a bit yourself?
I have to wing it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's an older pattern.
Sure.
It was back when patterns weren't as hand-holding.
Yeah, got you.
Yeah.
And the neckline is binding?
Yeah, it's a binding. It's like a thicker binding. It's not a bias facing because it's meant to have that tie at the back.
Yeah, nice. Okay.
Yeah, and I just kept it like that because I like it.
I like it. It looks really great. And the sleeves are just hemmed.
Yep.
And I think that, like you say, the defining feature is really that there's no seam on the shoulders there.
And it just feels nice. Like, look, there's nothing much to talk about with this the actual tops. It's just like I really need to remind myself that these kind of sews are actually what I need most.
Yeah, and what you wear.
Yeah, and what I wear.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think I'm going to really ask myself those questions before I make things. It's like, are you making this because it's something that you're going to wear a lot? Or are you making this because it's like exciting? And maybe trying to like shift those around so that I'm not making things that I don't get to like benefit from as much, you know?
I understand. I think I went through a bit of a process with fabric in a similar kind of way, and I would kind of be swayed by colours and prints and, I love this. And then I'd make it into a garment and I'd be a bit like, it's a lot. I don't know if I really want to wear it. I like the fabric. I love the fabric, but I don't want to wear it.
Yeah.
And I realised over time that for me, I always think people fall into either like texture or colour. And I'm definitely more of a texture person. I like fabric that has a bit of texture to it, but it doesn't need to be out there in terms of the print.
Yeah.
I'm not a print person necessarily. The odd print, throw the odd one in here and there, but I'm definitely much more of a, just those kind of like less in your face colours and prints. And because I know I actually want to wear it.
Yeah.
And I think often it looks less kind of like it's home sewn as well sometimes.
Yeah.
That's my... Yeah, but it took me a while to work through that process and work out what it was that I like in my garments that I sew.
Then you have to remind yourself, this blue thing that I'm sewing isn't like the bright, colourful print that caught my eye that gives me those like dopamine hits.
Yep.
But it's going to be worth it because I'm going to be able to wear it. I'm going to wear it often because it doesn't have like a big bold statement about it, and you can kind of wear it more.
I'm going to love it as a garment, as what it's supposed to, the end product, rather than the fabric, you know, which is I think often part of the reason why we get into sewing, because we have a love for, fabrics and prints and all of that. But yeah, it's just making that, I guess, decision about what you want to wear versus what you want to see on your fabric, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I realised a while ago that because I have tattoos, it's almost like I have a lot of colours happening on me anyway. So then I like to kind of pare back my clothes.
Yeah.
Because it's like I've already got decorations.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have tattoos, but I feel the same. I feel like I don't need all that. And I think sometimes it makes me feel, I don't know, bigger. I don't know. I just prefer to just be in more, I guess,
you want to be more subtle.
More subtle, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know
Maybe
why.
You don't want to stand out too
Maybe
much.
I don't want to stand out. I've never been, I always stand, a little bit back and just, fade into the crowd.
And that's why you choose bright coloured nails to look at.
Yes.
And that's why I love bright coloured labels.
Yes.
Because I don't wear too much like bright colours and things, and that's why we have a lot of the colourful labels, because the inside can be the party that you can see, and then no one else needs to know about that.
Do you want to know which label I used?
Oh, yes.
I actually can't remember which one I put in the black one, but I can remember which one I put in the teal one, because I sewed it so quickly. I cut it out in the morning, I got it sewed in the afternoon, and then I found this orange label from you guys, and it said sewn like a boss. Plus I'd got my cover stitch sorted. My tension was good, and I was like, yep, sewn like a boss. This one's going in.
Excellent. Excellent. What did I put in this? I think I put a sweary one in this one. It says fucking fabulous and giving zero fucks.
What mood were you in when you sewed it, Carly? Oh, thank you. Yes, I put a flower in. Jason's just reminding me.
Claire Ritchie flower.
Yeah, Claire Ritchie flower. Very cute. There were a lot of decisions to make with this pattern.
Yes.
I sort of went to cut it out, and there were like, well, let me get this exactly right. There's the round neck in the boat height, the ballet, which is in the middle, and the babe, which is lower. Then there's 2 square necklines, which is either high and low. And then there's 3 hem finishes. So you either have fitted with flounce, or fit and flare, which have 3 different length options.
Wow.
So I looked at the pattern, I was like, oh, I'll call my mum.
It's not the Ogden
That's what
Cammy.
a sensible, 40-something-year-old does. They call their mum. Mum, which one do you think I should make? So I started off with
Why didn't you call me?
Well, I should have called you. I don't know, why didn't I call you? So Mum really liked the flounce, and I was like, oh, should I? Is that a bit much? But when I made the first one, I was like, yeah, I really like that. I'm going to keep that. And then I made the square neckline next, which is actually my favourite. I really like the look of the square, and I think everyone's different probably in what they prefer, but the square neckline was definitely a look that I prefer. And then there were two different options as well with the binding that you could attach. So I did it, the strip that goes around the neck and on the straps, you could either do it like a binding, so you wrap it around, and that was the option that I went for, or you could do what was called the band. So that's when you fold, I didn't do it, but I think you fold it in half and you attach it, so it's like
a normal neck
band. A normal neck band, exactly. And I really liked the way the instructions were for the binding, because it was really easy to get that even finish, because you basically wrap it around the overlocking that you've used to attach it to the garment, and that worked really well. And then once I got my cover stitch, everything working well, I think it came out, pretty well. One tip I would give, I didn't get any stretching out on my neckline, which, sometimes can happen, particularly when you're applying binding and things like that. But I just put a strip of interfacing around the neckline to make sure that wasn't going to happen. Because
how thick did you make it?
Really thin, just enough just to make sure it wasn't going to, stretch out. Probably about 1 centimetre. Because the way I like to sew with stretch is I will put the garment together, and I use like a stretchy thread, like you can get Gutermann or Metler do one, a Mariflex, sew it like that. Then I put it on. With
a straight stitch?
Usually just with a straight stitch initially. And then I'll put it on inside out and fit it. As long as I've got roughly the right size. So I made a size 12 on this.
Do you mean the whole garment? You just sew it and put it on?
Not the whole garment. So I wouldn't put the binding on.
Okay.
So that's why I put the interfacing on the neckline, because when I try on, so if this garment is basically front and back, and the straps are, part of that. Yeah. So there's not many parts to it.
You're just fitting it.
It's quick, but I'm just basically fitting it. And so I put that on first without the binding, but I want to make sure that when I'm doing that the neckline and everything isn't going to stretch out. So I made a very, very slightly bigger size, then got my mum basically with it on inside out to pin it. Had to make a few adjustments, as I always do, sway, back adjustment, flattened hip curve, to the point that I should probably just make these adjustments now on the pattern. I know what the problem's going to be. So did all of that, and then I'll take it off, overlock the side seams. So, doesn't matter that it was a straight stitch. It was a stretchy thread anyway, but you've got your overlocking, and then I'll put my binding in. So if I'm doing all of that and I'm fitting it, then I prefer to make sure that the neckline has got something there to make not stretch out.
So it's like the stretch equivalent of just stay stitching the woven neckline.
Exactly.
Before you put the binding on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you can even get like stretchy, I didn't. I just used what I had in the cupboard. I cut a strip, stuck it. Just wanted something to make sure it wasn't going to stretch out.
I like your idea of sewing the seams, putting it on and testing it, because even if you made that exact dress and you made the adjustments to the pattern pieces and then you went and cut it out and you got different fabric, even if it's the same fabric from the same place with a different colour, it just seems to be different in some way. Like it might be a little bit more stretchy or less stretchy. And I feel like that's probably what you'd probably need to do for each one you make, because of the differences in the fabric.
Absolutely. And I think stretch is definitely one of those fabrics that you really need to do that with. So what I ended up doing on the pattern, because it is a dress that I could well make again, I got a big bright pink marker and marked on the pattern all the changes that I had made with this particular fabric. And then when I made the second one, I cut the original pattern, because this fabric was different. It was a completely different fabric. But I was aware of those, and I actually marked them on with a marking pen, so that when I put it on to fit, I already kind of knew where it needed to go in or wherever, but I wasn't confident until, maybe it had slightly less stretch, and it was going to be too tight if I just cut those bits away, because as we know, every stretch fabric is slightly different. Yeah,
totally. I couldn't believe how different, because do you remember, it was like a long time ago, so you might not remember, but I made the Blommer tank, and I made 7 of them.
Yes, I do remember.
Like one for every day of the week.
Yes, I remember.
And I had all the fabrics, and they were ribbing. So
very stretchy.
I feel like the variances on a regular stretch fabric and the variances on a ribbing are going to be even more.
Yeah.
amplified, I guess. And I actually cut them all in the one go. Like I had them all laid on top of each other, and I used like a fancy electric rotary cutter. So they were literally the exact same size.
Yeah.
And I made them all, but they all are very different.
Yeah.
And they fit so differently. In fact, one of them was just like overall just too big for me.
Yeah. You just have, I think you have to put stretch on. If it's something that's going to be fairly tight fitting, or you want it to fit to your body, you know, fairly snugly, you just have to wait till it's cut out in the fabric, make a slightly bigger size, cut it out in the fabric, and get someone, you might be able to do it yourself or get someone to help you. I definitely had to pull up the straps a lot on the fabric, you know. And that's where
true. Some would have like stretch in both directions, and some might only have stretch in one direction.
Both of my fabrics did have stretch in both directions. So I just had to pull it up a little bit. And then you don't want to spend time doing all the binding until you've got that bit perfect.
That would be very frustrating if you did all of that and then you realise the straps were too long after you've done that, because there's no going back from that. No. That's in the bin at that point.
No one's unpicking binding.
No.
Well, good luck.
Not unless it was your only hope and you needed it for a thing and you just had to make it work.
Yeah.
But if it was just for, you know, your everyday basics, you might be like,
no way.
I might start again with a new one. But that's sad if you do that.
But fortunately, I had fitted it, so it was okay.
Yes. You didn't leave that up to chance. So you made 2 dresses without making a toile.
I did. Ooh, are you proud of me?
Yeah. I truly believe that you can like avoid making a toile with most things. Like at least get a wearable something out of it.
Yeah, I know. I think you're right. I think the only time that you definitely cannot do that is if you're dealing with somebody often with a bigger bust and you need to do a fitted dress that's in a woven fabric.
Yeah.
So you're making a bodice. You want to make sure that bust dart is exact, that everything is just, you know, the shoulder slope is correct. All of those things, I still would always make a 12 for that. But I agree with you on all the other stuff.
But that's like a fancy special thing.
It's icing.
Yeah, it's icing.
I just thought I would run through a couple of stretch sewing tips that as I was making my pattern, I decided would be a good idea. And the first one I would say is always cut your binding or your band or whatever it is using a rotary cutter when you are sewing with stretch, because you want to, it's only a very thin piece of fabric, and stretch fabric can sometimes move around a bit more than other fabric or roll up at the edges. So I would definitely recommend a ruler and a rotary cutter.
And a cutting mat.
And a cutting mat, yes, unless you want lines in your table, absolutely, and a blunt rotary cutter, a cutting mat.
Yeah. Do you have I like a long ruler for doing it.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, I have a long ruler, yeah.
And for cutting binding and stuff, yeah, or even like bias binding.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, bias binding in any fabric.
It's much easier to deal with the rotary cut strip than a scissor cut strip.
Yeah,
for sure.
Because there's always going to be sort of slight little jaggedy bits. And you want it to be perfect.
Yeah, we're looking for precision.
We want precision. If you are a perfectionist sewer and you like things to look as,
welcome
perfect.
to the club.
Yeah, exactly. I think the more you sew, the more you become like that as well, Anyway. Obviously a stretch needle in your machine.
Yes.
And stretch thread, if you've got it, is definitely worthwhile. An overlocker, I mean, we touched on this at the beginning. You don't need an overlocker. It's
nice to have.
But it does speed up the process a little bit, and it is nice to have.
It's quite strong.
And if you're kind of on the fence, do I need an overlocker, don't I? The nice thing about an overlocker versus a cover stitch is that you are going to be able to use your overlocker for most of your garments that don't have lining, or, well, even if you've got lining, sometimes you end up using an overlocker.
Yeah,
and
it's a good tool to have.
It is, and it gives you that sort of professional finish. And once you've got over the threading part, which you will get over, a few YouTube videos later, you'll be fine. It's actually a really useful thing to have, I reckon.
Yeah, the cover stitch is like a nice to have thing.
Yeah.
But I think like the overlocker is, I mean, if you're sewing garments often, I think it's probably a really good investment.
Yeah.
Even a cheap one is still going to work pretty well.
Yeah.
Just to finish the seams.
Yeah.
I started with a really cheap Brother one.
Yeah.
and then I upgraded.
Well, I've got a Janome, and it's, it's not the most, no air threading or anything. My mum's always shows off with her air threading overlocker. I think she's got a Juki or something. But anyway, mine's a pretty basic overlocker, but I have to say it's pretty good. Like, it works really well. You don't need to spend a whole load on an overlocker, particularly if you're not, if you're just sewing as a hobby and you want to get those nice professional finish, here and there. I think, a Janome is a really good price point if you don't want to spend a fortune.
I think Janome have the air threaders now too. Because,
they do, yeah.
It's pretty cool because, I think Baby Lock or Juki, they had the patent. And then it expires after a certain amount of time, and then it can be like technology that other brands use. So you might see it coming in other brands as well.
Yeah. I've got air threading I've got a Baby Lock for my cover stitch, which is nice. Apart from when you're using woolly nylon.
Have you ever used an industrial cover stitch?
No.
Apparently they're amazing.
Have you?
No.
Oh, yeah.
One day.
I'd just like an industrial. I would just always look at your industrial machine in the corner. When I come in, I'm like, oh,
I moved that to my house.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, because it wasn't really getting I do most of my actual sewing for the podcast and, other things at home.
Yep.
And the industrial was at the office. So we got that moved. It has to get moved by people.
Yeah, okay.
To my house, and now it's
really? So it's special sewing machine removal.
Well, it's I guess no, not well. They were actually the special sewing machine moving people, but it's just that because we're up those stairs and it's really heavy, and it got delivered by them.
Yeah,
and then when I was saying, "Oh, I'm going to move this home," we were all kind of like, "How are we going to do this?" And then we called the guys, and they just came and did it, and it was worth paying. It's like how you move a piano or something.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, like a piano removal.
You get the piano removal people.
Yeah.
So
Well, one day I'm going to have one of those machines or something very similar, but I can't really justify it because I've got so many machines kicking around for various different purposes that I think that I need to make some space somewhere.
That's
first.
fair enough. I totally brought you on a tangent there. And what's your next sewing tip for the stretch?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. That was important there. I think I'm getting there. We talked about pattern adjustments with stretch fabric, cutting using a rotary cutter, the Metler or the Gutmann stretchy thread, stretch needle. Have you got any tips?
Well, you mentioned curling up a few times. How do you deal with that?
Well, you can put like a strip of interfacing or something on the bottom to give it a bit of structure, often where you're hemming, and that will sometimes help the stitches sit better in the garment. Starch, didn't do it this time, but I have been told in the past that sometimes that can help. But again, like with everything, test it first because you don't want it to mark your fabric and then not come out. But yes, a little spray with starch or best press or something, and then go over with the iron. That might just help it to, not roll up quite so much. Do you have any tips, Kylie?
Well, okay, so there's this tip that I read, and I don't actually follow it, but I wonder if there's a lot of truth to it. And it was that mostly you're meant to pre-wash your fabrics and dry them how you would normally care for them in the future, so that when you care for them, they don't do anything unexpected. But with the stretch, I read that because of the twisting and all the stuff that happens when you wash it, it's actually better to cut it out and sew it before it's washed so that it doesn't get that twisting. Like, I don't know about the dress, but I'm talking like T-shirts and things.
Really?
But I haven't done that. Because I'm scared because of the whole cost and it'll shrink. And it's like, do you have to make it? And then it got me thinking we talked about how Elizabeth Suzanne, they make the garment and then they shrink it. So they have to make the garment bigger and then so I'm like, does that mean that you have to make it bigger to shrink it? I don't know.
And then you're like, I'm just going to pre-wash it because I don't want to cry
exactly.
when.
Yes.
That's an interesting tip. If anyone has any input on that, I would love to know.
It's a tip that I think could be interesting to explore, but I'm too scared to do it. So is anyone doing it like that?
Yeah, is anyone willing to try it out for us and let us know?
Yeah, I can imagine making a T-shirt and you're like, it's perfect. And then you put it in and it's like, it's a baby doll top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you got me thinking now. I don't know.
But it does make sense because when you do, especially if it's a lighter stretch fabric and you put it in the washer and the dryer to shrink it, and then you go to cut it and then you can't get it to fold on the straight grain or anything, and then you end up working with this bit of oblong shaped fabric instead of like a rectangle.
But then at the same time, I always feel like my stretch fabrics change the most when they go through the wash. So it's like, as you say, it's a gamble. You don't know, what's going to happen to the gum when it comes out. Maybe it will be better.
Well, I know that this tip has come from like how things are done in a factory. But yeah, things, often have you seen a T-shirt that's like twisted at the seams or after a certain amount they
they kind of
end up, the side seams kind of creeping into the center.
Yes.
And that is generally because in factories they get cut in a stack. And if one hasn't been like perfectly lined up,
slightly off.
We talk about cutting as being like one of the most important steps here. And that's where some stuff in factories gets a bit skewy.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. I think another tip I'd like to give, actually, if you have got a particularly rolly, stretchy fabric, I would actually recommend not cutting folded. I would say cut single layer with a rotary cutter on a board if you can fit it, because I think you're much less likely to get that twisting happening. But because when you fold it, you always risk it not being completely perfect.
You can only see one side.
You can only see one side. You might have a little bit bunched up that you haven't seen. Who knows what's under there for sure. So it's always a good idea to just do single layer.
Well, here's my tip on a stretch neckline if you're making a T-shirt.
Okay.
Because you kind of make like a loop, you close the loop, you fold it in half and you iron that. Yep. And then you're basically sewing.
This is the band.
Yeah, the neck band. And then you're sewing 3 layers together with an overlocker.
Yeah.
That is where mistakes will happen.
Yeah.
So I like to baste that on.
With a machine?
Yes. Yeah. Just a regular sewing machine. I use a regular, I don't even care about the thread or nothing because I sew really close to the raw edge.
Yep.
Because all I'm really trying to do is make sure that the raw edges are caught. Because once that is, then you don't have to use pins.
Yes.
And then you can stretch and go
move it.
And move it through. And I know that there still could be puckering if I don't stretch it properly, but at least all the raw edges are there, because I feel like when you're stretching and you've got 3 layers and 2 of them are ribbing and one of them is another fabric.
And pins.
And the shoulder seams bumping, like
there's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on, and that is the part that's going to make it look obviously home sewn if it's not done properly.
Yeah.
And then I really like to, once that's done, press it and then do a single chain stitch.
On your normal machine?
No, with the cover stitch.
Yeah,
or you could use, I have used the twin needle before, or I've just used a really...
so you do a single chain stitch. Interesting.
Because
try that.
I'm just looking at ready-to-wear stuff and just going, what do they do? I'm going to try and do that because it keeps it nice and flat.
Keeps that overlocking from, sitting nice and flat on the chest.
Yep.
And then doesn't overdo that. Because sometimes when you've got 2 rows of stitching, you need it to be exact all the way around. And that gives you, that's just harder again, isn't it?
Yeah, and you want it to be exactly on the actual seam allowance so you get the thickness. And, I mean, I do a twin needle cover stitch around there sometimes but the single ones are a bit easier to control.
Yeah, that's good to know.
And if if it's not a really small neckline that needs to really stretch over your head, it doesn't even really need to be stretchy, that line, if it's big enough. It's more about that line of stitching keeps the neckline in position and it makes the raw edges kind of flare out where they need to be, and then the folded edge stays.
But the folded edge, you mean the edge inside? The
edge that's like the actual...
The band?
Yeah, the band. The folded edge of the band stays like neat and like tight.
And lays
taut.
flat on your chest rather than flapping around anywhere.
And steam after you do it.
Steam is really important, actually, a good steam.
Yeah.
And I was actually teaching a lesson the other day, and it was a lady that was doing some stretch pants for a child, and we were using the stretch stitch in the machine. And then we kind of, this is before we went into the pants, and then we experimented with a straight stitch. And I think sometimes the little zigzag of the stretch stitch on the sewing machine was almost like stretching the fabric out too much. And I actually prefer using a straight stitch and an overlocker is what I've decided. I think it can just stretch it out a bit too much otherwise.
That just reminds me. I've seen these machines that do a single chain stitch and an overlocking stitch at the same time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's like...
What are they called?
I don't know. Cut this bit because I don't even know.
Yeah.
I could have imagined it in a dream.
I mean, maybe you did.
No, I have seen it. But it was a long time ago. And I don't know what brand it is. It might be discontinued.
Oh, well. Sounds amazing.
Yeah. I think it's what they use to like make uniforms and stuff. Like they just do one pass and it's like all of the...
And I think there's a really important point to continue on here. We can be really hard on ourselves sometimes as sewists when we look at ready to wear and we go, I want mine to look as perfect as this. But what you have to remember is in an industry, they have all these like specialist machines where they basically, I'm sure they just bung it in and it comes out perfect, and they're making...
Well, they're doing thousands a day.
So I think we're really hard on ourselves sometimes, and I think the way to get around these things, as we've said already, is, practice. I've always been a big one for like sample sewing. Like if there's a really tricky bit in a pattern, like a welt pocket or something like that, always just practice on some scraps so you know how it's going to come out on your main fabric. But also don't be too hard on yourself. You don't have the exact machinery that they're using in industry. So
like I think if you did the same seam 1,000 times, you'd be professional as well.
Absolutely.
So unless you're doing that, you got to be we've got to be less hard on ourselves.
And I think as well, we need to. I've mentioned this tip before, but this is an important tip: is that if you ever don't feel 100% happy with whatever you've sewn, often if you put it away in your wardrobe for about 3 or 4 months, I don't know, whatever time you need to let the pain just, the memories fade, and then pull it out, you'll love it again. Often you forget about all you see it like other people see it, which is not, you don't hone in on all those tiny little details that we get so hung up on.
That's right. And another thing is like, if you can't really see it from a meter away, it's probably okay. Yeah. And there's another saying that we have that in the office is like, that'll wash out. Yeah. Because sometimes like you're obsessing over a couple of little stitches, but then by the time you wash it and the fabric and the stitches all kind of like, I don't know, nestle into each other, it's like, it's not even a thing.
Also, we talk about being a perfectionist sewist. Sometimes as a perfectionist sewist, unpicking and trying to make it perfect can make it worse. Yes. You know what I mean? We can overdo it. So somebody just got to let it go. It's okay,
Yeah, like sometimes you'll sew something and it'll be secure. Yeah. But you're not happy with how it looks. Yeah. And then you will unpick it and sew it 3 more times and you basically perforate the shit out of that fabric. Just so that it looks better. It's like probably would have lasted better in the first way.
You question whether or not that was a good decision.
Yeah.
Hi, Sally.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
How are you going?
Oh, splendid.
Are you cake or icing?
Look, actually, I don't know. I'm Portuguese tart.
Delicious.
Give me that custard. I don't have cake. So you look, if it's butter icing.
Okay.
100%.
All right. We'll go with butter icing.
Let's not muck around.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the back of cake or icing.
Yeah.
I also have some this or that questions for you.
Ooh, okay.
Are you ready? Easy one. Mm-hmm. Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Yeah, 100%.
But
that is the correct
bubble
answer.
tea.
Bubble tea. No, I drink English breakfast tea, of course.
Yeah.
But I would go coffee as a choice.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't muck about.
No.
Just kidding. All right, well, city or beach holiday?
Beach.
City.
Yep. Okay, they're both right. I love how I'm marking each.
What's the right answer?
I'm like, well, I know the right answer.
Gemma said beach and Kylie said city.
Who's right?
City.
Oh, really?
No. Actually, they're both right. The right answer is both. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Would you rather have the ability to see 10 minutes into the future or 100 years into the future?
Oh. Well, I'm not going to be here in 100 years.
No.
Do you mean I can see everything from now until 100? Like I can see from now until 100? Like I can see everything up to 100 years? Or I can only see what happens in 100 years?
It's the knowledge.
So I can see, I have the full scope of everything.
Yes.
Nah, don't want that.
No.
I think 10 minutes? Do. I think I do want that. I'm too nosy. I'm like, ooh, what would it be like?
10 minutes.
What would 10 minutes give you, though? I mean, I kind of know
stop
what's
you
going
from
to happen.
getting hit by a car or
Oh,
something.
that's true.
But it could also...
lame.
I don't know.
Yeah,
it could also make you avoid good opportunities that you don't realize are a good opportunity.
That's a really hard one, Sal. You're really hurting my brain now.
Okay.
You're welcome.
I would rather be walking blindly into life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a nice way to be. That's a nice way to be. Sewing in the nighttime or during the day?
Oh, never at nighttime
Yeah,
for me.
day.
I used to do it when the kids were
Yeah.
little, when they go to bed early, but now, no.
The light's not good.
No. I'd sew too much black stuff.
Yeah.
Need daylight.
So
for
goth these days, guys.
that. Goth.
Wonder Woman or Captain Marvel? There's an obvious answer here.
Wonder Woman.
I don't really know. I don't know enough about
I was
either
just
of them
guessing.
to make
I'm not really in
right,
I'm not,
decision.
I'm not really into
Which one's the best,
yeah.
most
Captain
feminist
Marvel,
one?
obviously.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. Would you rather be forced to sing along or dance to every single song you hear?
Sing along.
dance.
That's fun
We are
times.
so opposites.
Would you rather have your thread break every 36 inches or have your bobbin run out constantly for a week?
Well, if it was
Neither.
every, what do you mean constantly?
Yeah.
You have to pick one.
You were very specific about how many inches I got with the thread, but you were very vague with the bobbin running out.
Get what you get.
Okay. Well, I can see the thread, so I'll go with the thread.
Yeah, I think I would go thread as well. The
bobbin's
bobbin will
always
be
a bit
annoying.
of a
Yeah.
surprise.
All right, all right. Would you rather spend an hour unpicking a seam or lose your needle in the carpet?
Lose my needle.
Oh my God. I have one hand sewing needle at the office and I lose it all the time. And then
I feel like that's an oversight.
and then I have to go and get a new one out of a pack. Like that's no.
I would definitely lose my needle.
I don't mind unpicking.
Okay. Well, again, we're opposite, so that
Love
works.
it. I love it. Great. Would you rather tidy up your space after every single project or have one massive, overwhelming cleanup session once a month?
I would rather that, but I can't do that. I have to do the other one because of where everything is.
Yeah.
But I would rather have a room that I could close and just have it be the creative mess, and that's okay. But I don't have that.
I have a door that I can close, but I prefer to tidy up after each project because I'm someone that needs to feel that everything is organised to be able to move on to the next.
Clean as you go.
Yeah.
That's where it's at. Would you rather sew slow and steady or frantically finish everything in one night?
Slow and steady.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, look, we're the same. We even almost jinxed each other.
Consensus. Trace patterns or cut directly into them?
Cut. Tracing sucks.
Yeah. And the chances of me making it again, I don't often. So I've just get in
PDF
there.
all the way.
Yeah.
PDF A0s.
Yeah.
Just keep printing and cutting them.
Picking fabric or cutting fabric?
Picking
fabric.
It's the best bit.
That is separate from sewing. That's a whole other hobby.
And that's it.
Okay.
Awesome.
Well, what
Thanks,
have you
Sal.
got for us to sew next time?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so beautiful. So it's the Tazudi robe.
Ooh,
So
exciting.
beautiful.
Yeah, robe. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. So everyone needs to head on over to tazudishop.com, and Colette has kindly given everyone 20% off the PDF pattern for a year.
Oh, how
Wow.
Yeah, so nice.
good. I love
And-
Tazudi patterns.
and
Yeah, they're great.
they donated like their beautiful Harley fabric for the robes for you guys. So
Oh my gosh, we get to sew with the same fabric.
Yay. Oh, that would be cool.
it's so beautiful. Like it's so squishy. I love it. I'm obsessed.
Thank you
so
for
much.
being the sponsor
Thank
of
you,
the
Tazudi.
fabric. Woohoo.
Yeah.
So next time we'll see you then.
Yeah. See you then.
I think we were already done? We were already done, right?
So thanks so much for listening, everyone. We would love it if you could join our Facebook group, the Sewing Club Podcast Community, where we can share our makes and tips and tricks along the way.
And we have an Instagram as well, which is sewingclub.podcast. We have feedback forms attached to that. You can see our garments in the wild. We post videos there, and we love hearing all the feedback, so keep it coming.
We'd love it if you could subscribe, rate, review the podcast. All of that helps to get this podcast to as many people as possible.
Till next time.
Till next time.